Okay? Yun po yung ibig sabihin ng 88% dyan. You are relating your score to others. Okay, next. Siyempre, kung meron tayong mean, median, mode, naririnig pa ba ako? Kung meron tayong mean, median, mode na ginagamitan ng mga formula, meron din tayong ungroup. There is a different approach sa ungroup. Diba? Sa mean, median, mode, sa decile, quartile, and percentile, meron tayong different approaches dun sa pag-solve ng mga ito in ungroup data and in group. So, yun po yung meron ding difference dito. Sa percentile rank, though they are, it is a percentile rank, magkaiba po yung solution natin, yung way of computation natin kapag ungroup at kapag group data. Of course, because the data has a different approach then. Yung isa, ungroup, when we say ungroup, they are not organized, they are not grouped, they are not classified. Pag sinabing group, they are in a frequency distribution table and they are organized. So kapag ungroup po, yung ginagamit nating formula ay percentile or percentile rank of X is equal to the number of values below X divided by the total number of frequencies times 100. Yun lang po. So, paano natin siya gagamitin? Like for example, dito binigyan tayo ng salary, no? Estimation ng salary. So the Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE, in partnership with the Bureau of Local Employment, revealed in their latest labor market trends release which jobs presently earn the highest salary in the Philippines year 2019. So these are the different jobs listed, and its estimated monthly salary is also listed here. Okay? Now, ang kailangan natin gawin is to determine the percentile rank of computer engineers, salary among the other jobs. So kung babalikan natin yung table, ano yung hinahanap natin? We are looking for the computer engineers. And this is the salary of computer engineers. That's 49,335. Now, ano yung gagawin natin? I-relate natin yung salary niya than the others. Okay? So, ano ulit yung formula? Yung formula natin is number of scores below the X, or ano yung mas mababa sa kanya, ilan sila. So, titingnan nyo, mas mababa dyan yung accountant, mas mababa yung production supervisors and foremen, and statisticians. Okay? So, ilan sila? Tatlo. Yan. So, tatlo dito sa table, yung may mas mababang value or salary kaysa kay computer engineer. So, anong gagawin natin dun sa 3? Gagamitin natin siya dun sa ating formula. Ano yung formula natin? Again, our formula is percentile rank of X equals number of values below X divided by the total number of frequencies times 100. So, ang ating number below X, or below the salary that is below computer engineers, is 3. Tatlo yun. Tatlo yung categories na yun. Divided by the 10. 10 yung jobs na present sa atin kanina. 10 times 100. Ibig sabihin, yung percentile rank po ng computer engineer salary is 30. What does that mean? Ibig sabihin po niyan, 30% nung nandun sa ating trend kanina has a lower salary than the computer engineers. Okay? And then of course, 70% are, or those that have, should I say, 70% of the jobs listed earlier has a higher salary, higher or equal salary to the computer engineers. Okay? Greater than or equal to the salary of computer engineers. Yun po yung ibig sabihin. Okay? Now, let's proceed to another example. No, yung 30 dyan nakita nyo is the 30th percentile rank. And yung binabanggit ko, inuunti-unti ko na kayo kasi yung next lesson natin how to interpret. So yung inuunti-unti ko na kayo, anong ibig sabihin nun? Anong ibig sabihin ng 30%? Then how about the 70% that makes it 100%? Okay? How about those jobs that has monthly salary lower than 60,477? Kung babalikan natin yung table, 60,477 is the salary of the actuaries. Okay? So yung actuaries, yun yung salary niya. At ano yung mga jobs na may mas mababang sweldo sa kanya? Ito, yung computer programmers and so on up to the statistician. And kung bibilangin natin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 job trends here or job here listed na mas mababa ang sweldo kesa sa actuaries. Gamitin ulit natin yon 6 divided by 10 times 100, that is 60%. Ibig sabihin, therefore, we can say that 60% of the jobs have monthly salaries of 60,477 or less, and 40% of the jobs has monthly salary of 60,477 or more. Okay? Yun ang ibig sabihin. Nakikita natin dyan na 60. Next. Let us proceed to the group. Okay? Ganun lang kadali pag ungroup. Bilangin mo lang yung number of values na mas mababa sa kanya. Divide mo lang siya sa total number nilang lahat times 100. Ganun lang pag ungroup. Okay? Sabi ko sa inyo, when we say ungroup, usually those are the unclassified, ungroup, okay? And usually, ito yung mga data na konti lang yung number of frequencies. And when we say group, syempre mamaya papakita ko sa inyo, nakalist siya, naka-itemize na siya. Okay? And we will use this formula to find the percentile rank, okay, of a group data. Should be PR, PR. P percentile rank equals 100 divided by the total number of frequencies or yung N times the quantity of P minus the lower boundary, where P stands for the data that we are going to have later on, times the frequency of that data divided by I plus the cumulative frequency. So yun po yung ibig sabihin. PR stands for the percentile rank. The answer would be in a percentage. Yung P natin stands for the row score. Kunwari, tinanong ka, ano ba yung percentile rank ni 20? Si 20 yung row score mo. Ano ba yung percentile rank ng 2,800? 2,800 will be your row score or yung value. Okay? Then, how about the lower boundary? Alam nyo na yan. Lower boundary of the percentile class. N stands for the total frequency. The CF stands for the cumulative frequency of all the values below the critical value. Mamaya papakita ko rin sa inyo. Katulad lang din yan ang ginagawa natin before. Okay? Then, how about for the frequency? Alam nyo na yan. Frequency of the percentile class. And I, alam nyo na rin yan. That is the class size or the class interval. Now, let us have an example. Yan. So, dito kita nyo, organized yung ating data. Meron tayong frequency distribution. Then we have here the scores, different classes, and the frequency. Okay. So we have to find how many percent of the scores are greater than the cumulative frequency of 38. Nasaan ba yung cumulative frequency natin ng 38? Ito po yung cumulative frequency natin ng 38. Our goal is to find number of percentage or percent of scores na greater than this. Ano kayang percentage ng greater than cumulative frequency? Yung scores greater than dito sa class na to or sa percentile class na to. Okay? Kasi ang binanggit niya yung cumulative frequency, so diretso tayo tingin agad sa cumulative frequency, which is 38. So ano yung class niya? Yung class niya po ay 36 to 40. Ngayon, nahanapin natin, anong percent, ilan yung percentage na mas mataas na score kesa dyan. Ibig sabihin ito. Okay? In the mathematics test scores of 50 students. Okay, let's proceed to the solution. So, dahil alam na natin that yung cumulative frequency natin na 38 is within the class of 36 to 40. Diyan natin makukuha lahat ng ng mga values tulad ng lower boundary. Yung lower boundary natin, di ba, mag-subtract lang tayo dito ng 0.5. Kaya naging 35.5. And yung P natin, remember, ang P natin ay 38. N natin is 50. The frequency natin is 11. The cumulative frequency below, yung mas mababa, we have it 27. And our I is 5. 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Okay? 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. So, 5 lahat. Okay? Then let's proceed to the solution. Our solution would be, yan, substitute lang natin. We have 100 divided by 50. Tapos yung P natin kanina which is 38 minus the lower boundary times the frequency divided by I plus the cumulative frequency. Okay. Below. So kapag kinuha natin yung answer dyan, we have 65. Ibig sabihin 65% of the scores are less than the cumulative frequency of 38. While the 35 of the scores are greater than the cumulative frequency of 30. Okay? So, nakuha na natin yung answer. Ibig sabihin 65 of the scores is less than, then of course 35 is greater than. Let us try another. Paano kung ang pinapahanap sa atin na score ay 40 or yung percentile rank ng 42? So, using the previous table, if one of the students got a score of 42, what is her percentile rank? Ano kaya yung magiging percentile rank niya? Siyempre, kunin muna natin saan class siya included. Saan class po siya included? Ang class po ba siya included? 41 to 45, correct. So kung nasa 41 to 45 siya, ano ba yung mga values na makukuha natin dyan? Ano na yung mga values natin? Date tayo. Sa to siya gumagana. Ayun. Ay. Ganun. Ito gumagana yung ano ko. Wait lang switch ko yung okay, kasi yung ano ko. Share tayo saglit. So, ano yung nasa formula natin kanina? Percentile rank is equal to 100 divided by n times the cumulative, the raw score. Ay, ano ko ito buburahin? Kasi ito nandito din. Yan. Nadali mo. Yan. Times the raw score, P minus, ano yung minus ko doon?
Lower boundary.
Correct. Lower boundary. Times, anong ito times ko?
Frequency.
The frequency of the percentile class divided by I plus
Cumulative frequency.
cumulative frequency below. Okay, alam nyo na yan pag sinabing cumulative frequency below. So try natin to isolve no yung 42. So 42 is in class 41 to 45. Next, you have to identify the values. So doon muna tayo sa lower boundary. Lower boundary is 40.5. Next, yung score ay 42. Yung frequency niya ay 8. Yung CF niya ay 38. Yung I ay 5. At yung N ay 50. Substitute natin. So we have 100 divided by 50 times the quantity of 42 minus the lower boundary, which is 40.5, times the frequency divided by I, which is 5, plus the CF, 30. So what is 100 divided by 50? Of course, that is 2. Dito, anong sagot? We have 1.5 times 8 divided by 5 plus 30. Ito, pwede natin to diretso. Okay, so 1.5 1.5 times 8 divided by 5 plus 30. Ano pong sagot?
$40.4 po.
40.4. So that is 2 times 40.4. Times natin siya sa 2. And that gives us
80.8.
80.8 or simply 81%. Remember that it is percentage. Therefore, kailangan natin mag-round up. So that is 80%. Ibig sabihin, 80% of the scores are lower than 42. Lower than or equal to 42. And 20% of the scores is greater than or equal to 42. Okay? Ay ko nga, may naisip kasi akong paraan. May question dito? Question po ba? Kasi kung wala, we will proceed. Screen ko lang. let me clear all the drawings. Tingnan natin yung solution natin kung tama. May ine-adjust na pa. We have 80.8. So the percentile rank of the student who got 42 is 81%. Activities na kasunod. So ganun lang po, no, kadali. Try natin ibang given. So let's say ang score mo, hindi ka nakapag-review. Kunwari yung score mo ay mababa. No? Let's say na yung score mo ay nasa 26 to 30. Okay. Let's say ang score mo ay 27. So 27. We have to look for the percentile rank of the student who got a score of 27. So una, identify muna natin yung mga kailangan, which is the lower boundary. That is equal to 25.5. Sunod sa lower boundary, we have the score itself. That is 27. And then we also have CF, which is 6. I is 5. Ano pa nakalimutan ko N? N is 50. Nakalimutan ko ba ako?
Frequency.
Frequency. Frequency is, we have percentile rank of the score that is equal to, sulat ko ulit yung formula para matandaan nyo. 100 divided by N times the quantity of the raw score minus the lower boundary times the frequency of the raw score or the percentile class, percentile rank class. Then we have divided by I plus the CF. And we will substitute. We have 100 divided by 50 times P times the quantity of P minus the lower boundary times the frequency divided by I, which is 5, plus the CF, which is 6. Ano nang gagawin next? We have 2 times 27 minus 25.5. That is also 1 point. 5 times 12 divided by 5 plus 6. What is 1.5 times 12?
18.
18. Divide natin siya sa 5.
3.6.
Ulat natin, no, para mabalikan ninyo. So, madali na lang to. We have 3.6 plus 6 equal to
9.6.
times 9.6. And 2 times 9.6 is
19.2.
19.2. Sabihin, the percentile rank of 27 is 19. Therefore, we have 19% of the scores is lower than 27, and then 81% is higher, has a score greater than 27. Greater than A. It is 81% of the class has a score higher than 27. So yung score mo na 27 ay nasa 90th percentile rank. Po yung ibig sabihin. Since we are done, and I think you already understand the percentile rank, both ungroup and group. Kapag ungroup po na yung ginagawa, una, you just have to count scores lower than the raw score that is given. Tapos, divide natin siya sa n, times natin siya sa 100. And ang magiging answer natin doon ay percentage. Ganon din dito, percentage yung answer, pero ang difference lang is that this is group and you have a formula. And the formula is 100 divided by n times the quantity of the raw score minus the lower boundary times the frequency of the raw score divided by I plus CF. Yung frequency dito, linawin ko lang hindi nung raw score, but yung class kung saan included si raw score. Okay, kasi aalamin nyo kung saan siya included. Kaya meron tayo dito percentile class. Hindi ko na masulat. Percentile class. Okay, so let me clear all the drawings and we will now proceed to our next topic. Kasi ang sunod dito ay activity na. We'll proceed to module number 10. So, ang goal natin dito is to recall the quartile, the decile, the percentile. And of course, for you to interpret the measures of position. Okay? Diretso tayo sa lesson. In interpreting the measures of position, kailangan i-recall natin. Ano nga ulit yung measures of position? When we say measures of position, these are the percentile, the quartile, the decile. Ang ginagawa natin last time, kinukupit natin. No? Ngayon, i-interpret natin. Ano yung ibig sabihin? So again, when we say quartile, we are dividing the data into 4 score points. Okay? And yung per distribution doon, we have their 25%. Yung Q1 natin, or the first quartile, the lower quartile, represents the 25% of the distribution. So Q sub 2 is 50% of the distribution, and Q sub 3 or the upper quartile is 75% of the distribution. Okay? Kaya nga sabi dito, 25% of the distribution fall below the first quartile, the 50 falls below the second quartile, and the 75% falls below the third quartile. Ayan po yung illustration. And meron tayo dito mga examples kung paano natin i-interpret, kung paano natin siya gagamitin in a problem, in a scenario, in a situation. Okay? So let us have your example. Anna says that the mathematics test is so difficult. There were 200 test takers, including her. Her score is 15 out of 20. Her score belong to the first quartile. Now, do you believe that the mathematics test is difficult? Tingnan natin, ano? Una natin tingnan yung score niya. 15 out of 20. Doon pa lang sa score niya, sa tingin ninyo, malalaman natin agad kung madali o mahirap yung exam. Zoom and Messenger. Doon po sa score niya, malalaman pa natin agad kung mahirap o hindi. Sige po. Sige po. Pa kayo. Zoom, naririnig niyo pa ako?
Opo.
Messenger, naririnig niyo pa ako? May yata yung Messenger. Wait lang nga, check ko yung attendance. Hindi pa ng attendance. So, kung 15 ang nakuha mong score out of 20, nahirapan ka ba o hindi? Or medyo-medyo lang? Wait lang ah. Yes po. Bigay ng bigas. Hello? Zoom? Messenger? O, nakakuha siya ng 15 out of 20 na score. Mahirap ba? Kung ako sa tingin ko niyan, hindi siya ganun kahirap. Okay? Kasi medyo mataas yung score mo eh. Ano ba yung 15 ng 20? 75% ang nakuha niya. So, 75% of the questions nakuha niya tama. Okay? So, kung titingnan natin yon, 75% ng questions na sagot mo ng tama, ibig sabihin, hindi ka nahirapan. Okay? Or should I say, naipasa mo. Kasi mostly, ng mga exams, 75% yung kailangan para makapasa ka. So, kung 20 yung exams natin na meron or questions na meron, at ako ng 15, pasado ka. Okay? Ang sabi pa dito, her score belongs to the first quartile. Ibig sabihin, 25% of the students got a score lower or equal to 15. How about the 75%? Ibig sabihin nun, yung 75% got a higher score. Greater than or equal to 15 yung score nila. Okay? So, ulitin ko. Yung score ni Ana ay nasa first quartile. Ibig sabihin, 25% of the class of the students got a score equal or less than or equal to 15. Okay? And 75% of the students got a score greater than or equal to 15. Ano yung ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin, 25% lang yung nakakuha ng mababang score than 15. Mababa o kaya naman 15 yung score nila. And come to think of it, 15 out of 20 is already 75% ng ng 20. Should I say, yung 15 out of 20 ay pasado na kung tutuusin. At 25% lang sa estudyante. Sa dami ng estudyante, 25% lang. Out of 200 test takers, 25% nun. Ano ba yung 25% ng 200? Ang 25% ng 200 ay 50. Ibig sabihin, 50 students ang mas mababa yung score kesa kay Ana. And yung 150 students ay mayroong score na mas mataas kesa kay Ana. Greater than or equal to. Mas mataas o kaya naman equal dun sa score ni Ana. So anong masasabi ninyo? Mahirap ba yung test nila sa mathematics or madali lang? Zoom? Nandyan pa kayo, Zoom? Naririnig niyo pa ako?
Opo.
Oh, mahirap ba yung exam kung ganun yung resulta?
Mahirap po. Mahirap, ma'am.
Bakit mahirap? Ulitin ko ha. Yung 150 na estudyante, mas mataas yung score kesa kay Ana. Ano ba score ni Ana? 15. Yung 50 students, 50 students, mas mababa yung score sa kanya. Mahirap ba o madali?
Madali po.
Madali po. Kasi unang-una, let us look at the mga questions na binabanggit ko sa inyo. Unang-una, kung ang score para makapasa ka ay 75%, ang 75% po ng 20 ay 15. Ibig sabihin, if 75% of the score is 15 and Ana got 15, pasado ba siya? Yes po, pasado siya. Pangalawa, if the passing score is 75, ilang porsyento daw ng test takers ang nakapasa? At ilan din daw ang porsyento ng test takers na hindi nakapasa? So, titingnan ninyo, 75% yung score nila and they pass the test. Okay, kailangan natin i-identify, marami bang nakapasa o konti lang? Titingnan ninyo, majority ng mga estudyante ay nakapasa. Kasi sa 200, 150 po ang nakapasa. So ngayon, mataas yung score ni Ana, pasado siya, and majority of the class nakapasa. Madali ba o mahirap? Of course, it was an easy exam. Okay? Kasi makikita nyo na konti lang yung nakakuha ng mababang score. At the same time, marami ang nakapasa. Okay? Konti lang nakakuha ng mababang score at marami ang nakapasa. Okay? Now, let us have the second scenario. Sabi ng best friend mo, 15 years old siya, which is now in grade 10, na bata siya masyado para sa, or sinabi niya na, I am generally young for this grade level. Okay, sinabi niya kumbaga, Kung titingnan sa edad, bata pa siya para sa grade 10. Now, upon gathering the data, it has been found that out of the first quartile is 16 years old. So, yung first quartile daw ay 16 years old. Ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng first quartile? Ang ibig sabihin po ng first quartile ay 25%. So, sabi, 25% daw ay may mas mababang edad sa 16 years old or mas mababa sa 16 years old or equal to 16 years old yung edad. So, maniniwala ba tayo sa sinasabi niya na bata pa siya para sa grade 10? Una, ano ba yung porsyento ng mga estudyante na may age 16 and below? Since it falls to the first quartile, ibig sabihin 25% of the students have ages below 16. 16 and below, should I say that? Eh ano naman yung porsyento na ang edad nila ay mas mataas sa 16? That is 75%. Now, sabihin natin, maniniwala ba tayo sa sinasabi niya na bata pa siya para sa grade 10? Yes or no? Just by looking at the percentages. Mas bata ba siya kaysa dun sa require or kaya naman kadalasang edad ng mga estudyante sa grade 10? Kung siya ay 15 years old? Yes or no?
Ano tanong, ma'am?
Mas bata ba? Kumbaga, yung edad niya na 15 years old, is it generally young for her grade level?
Opo, ma'am.
Opo, kasi 25% nung estudyante, ang edad nila ay 16 and below. While karamihan ng mga estudyante ay may edad na 16 and above. Okay? Kaya masasabi natin na tama yung sinasabi niya na siya ay generally young for her grade level. So sabi nga, would you agree with your best friend? Yes. Now, how about for decile? When we say decile, it is a 9 score point. So, ibig sabihin, it represents D sub 1 represents the 10%, D sub 2 represents 20%, D sub 3 represents 30%, and so on, up to D sub 9, which represents 90% of your data. Okay? So, paano naman natin gagamitin yan when it comes to different scenarios? How can we interpret the measures of position? So, dito, Mrs. Labonete gave a test to her students in statistics. The student finished their test in 35 minutes. This is 2.5 decile of the allotted time. So kung mapapansin nyo, kung 2.5, ibig sabihin, it represents 25% of the time. So kung mas baba, kung 2.5 decile or 25% of the time, ano yung ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin, mas mabilis nilang natapos yung exam nila sa statistics. Okay? Kasi 35 minutes lang, and 35 minutes is 25% of the time. So dapat pala, no, ang exam nila would take more than 2 hours. So tingnan natin. This means that 25% of the learners finished the test in 35 minutes or less. A low quartile is considered good because it means the student finished test in a short period of time. Now let's proceed to the next scenario. Anthony is a secretary in one big company in Metro Manila. His salary is in 7th decile. Ano ba yung 7th decile? It represents 70% of the data. Should Anthony be glad about his salary or not? Explain your answer. So kung ikaw si Anthony at nagtatrabaho ka sa isang malaking kumpanya sa Metro Manila, binibigyan ka ng salary, no? Na nasa 7th decile. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng 7th decile? 70% of the employees in that company receives a salary that is lower or equal to your salary. Okay? And yung 30% naman, nakakatanggap ng higher salary than you. So kung ikaw si Anthony, matutuwa ka ba sa sweldo mo? 70% mas mababa yung sweldo sa'yo, no? Tapos yung 30% mas mataas yung sweldo sa'yo. Matutuwa ka o hindi sa sweldo mo? Matutuwa o hindi? Hindi. Hindi daw. Bakit? Bakit hindi?
Ma'am, opo.
Opo. Bakit opo?
Ma'am, kasi secretary lang po siya. Tapos, yung mas mataas pong position sa kanya, mas mataas yung sahod.
Let's say na, huwag natin ilang, no? Let's say, secretary siya. And as a secretary, nasa 7th decile yung sweldo mo. Ibig sabihin, marami sa mga nagtatrabaho sa kumpanya na yon, mas mataas pa sweldo mo. Okay? Doon pa lang sa part na yon, kahit hindi natin alam anong posisyon ni Anthony, sa dami ng naungusan niya ng na employee sa sweldo, happy ka na. Kasi mataas yung sweldo mo. O konti lang sa company na yan, ang mas mataas ang sweldo sa'yo, let's say, yun yung may mga nasa matataas na posisyon na. Okay? So, kung kayo si Anthony, you should be glad that you receive a salary that is greater than 70% of the employees. Okay? Sabi nga dito, Anthony should be pleased with his salary. Now, 7th decile of the score, which marks the boundary between 70 and the 30% of data, if there are 200 employees, approximately, there are 60 na mas mataas yung sweldo kay Anthony. And the rest, which is 140 ng mga empleyado, ay mas mababa ang sweldo sa kanya or kaya naman equal. Now, how about for the percentile? When we say percentile is a 99 score point. Ibig sabihin, hinahati natin siya into 1%, 2%, 3%, up to 99%. Okay? So, mapapansin nyo, malaki yung kanyang range, kumbaga, mas marami, no? Pag sinabi natin percentile, may P1 tayo, P2, P3, P4, and so on. Pero, kung mapapansin nyo, yung mga data natin, isang data lang yan. Magkakaiba lang ng dami ng hati, di ba? Pag quartile, 4 na parts. Pag decile, 10 parts. And kapag percentile, 100 parts. So dito, let us have example number 5 or scenario number 5. In a group of 20, you and some rated students are ranked according to height. You are the 80th percentile. How many students are taller than you? Granting nobody is as tall as you. Okay? Nasa 80th percentile tayo or siya. No? In a group of 20, you and some 10 rated 10 students are ranked according to height. At yung height mo ay nasa 80th percentile. Ano ibig sabihin nun? 80 of the 80% of the students mas mababa o kaya equal sa'yo ang height. And then how about the 20%? Sila naman yung may mas mataas na height kesa sa'yo. So let us have the guide questions. What is the percentage? Ay sabi pala dito, no, na wala kang kapareho ng height kung ikaw yung student na nasa 80th percentile. Granting nobody is as tall as you. Ibig sabihin, kung titingnan natin yung percentage ng students that are tall as or kaya naman shorter than you, we can say that that is 80%. Yung taller naman than you, as tall as or taller than you, is 20%. Okay? So nabanggit ko na nga yun kanina. How about sabi dito, there are 3 students taller than me. Ano niya ginawa yun? Ang ginawa niya ay kinuha niya yung 20% ng 20. So, papansin nyo, ang 20% ng 20 ay 4. So, sabi nga, nobody is as tall as you. Ibig sabihin, yung 3 mas mataas sa kanya. Okay? Kasi siya yung isa. Okay? Kung 4 yung 20% ng 20, ikaw yung nasa 80th percentile, so yung 3 mas mataas sa iyo. So kayong 4 yung mas mataas dun sa 80% na binabanggit. Pinakamatataas dun sa 80%. Now, scenario number 6, 25 scores in a mathematics test were recorded, and 79 was the 50th percentile. Kung 50th percentile siya, and only one student got a score of 79, how many students scored higher than 79? 50th percentile. Ibig sabihin, siya yung second quartile, siya yung P sub 50, and siya rin yung D sub 5. Diba? Kasi lahat yun, 50% of the data. Kung only one got a score of 79, 25 kayo, no? 25 students, isa ka lang na ako ng 79, at ikaw yung gitna. Or 50th percentile. Ilan yung mas mataas ang score sa'yo?
12 po.
12. Bakit 12?
Ano man, gitna eh. 50% ng 24.
So, kung 50% ng 25 is ikaw, or ikaw yung gitna, middle score, middle value, ikaw yung nasa gitna, no? Ikaw yung 79. Yung score mo. Ibig sabihin, may 12 na tao na mas mataas ang score sa'yo. At 12 na tao rin na mas mababa ang score sa'yo. Kasi ikaw ang gitna. So, all in all, to sum it all, so 25 na yung lahat. 12 plus 12 plus 1, that is 25. So, there are 12 students who get higher than 79 and 12 students who get lower than 79. So, we are done with module number module number 11 on how we interpret the measures of possession. Mamaya may makikita kayo sa mga, what do you call this? Sa mga examples. Wait lang. Sita ka ba? Aglit lang ha. Kaya nga. Mas maraming positive tone, kaya nga nagpapaswak. Hindi ko alam. Baka nasama to. Pag tanggal mo ng helmet, di mo naman tinanggal. Let's proceed na to module number 12. Oh, solving problems involving measures of position. Nahirapan ba kayo dito? Magaling na kayo sa solving of ano. Nakita ko nga, naka 12 kayo, 15 sa scores nyo. So our goal is to recall percentile and percentile rank, solve problems involving measures of position, and interpret measures of position. So let's proceed to the lesson. What does a percentile rank mean? Ito, percentile rank of genus score. May binanggit na ba dito? Ito pala. As the name suggests, the measure of position is a number that tells where the score stands relative to other in the set of rank data. So we have here a table that shows genus score in National Career Assessment Examination. So mapapansin nyo, yung percentile rank niya sa scientific ability is 48. Percentile rank niya sa reading comprehension is 94. Sa verbal ability, sobrang taas ang percentile rank niya, no? That is 99%. And the mathematical ability is 56%. So if we look at the overall, ang percentile rank niya is 84. So let us look at the ano. May nagbigay dyan sa labas. Nag-list, hindi ako nakapag Now, if the percentile rank of genus score in the science ability is 48, what does this mean? Does this mean that he answered 48% of the total items in the test correctly? So, kung titingnan nyo yung problem, no, tinatanong tayo kung 48% daw yung kanyang percentile rank, ano ba yung ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin ba, out of the total number of questions na meron, 48 lang doon ang nasagutan niya ng tama, 48% lang doon? Hindi po. Bakit? Ang ibig sabihin po kasi niyan, ng 48% na percentile rank, okay, yung 48 na percentile rank, ang ibig sabihin po niyan ay out of 100%, 48 doon yung 48% doon sa mga nag-take ng exam, yung merong mas mababang score sa kanya or equal sa score niya. Okay? Now, let's look at the second scenario. May question kayo dito? Ano yung ibig sabihin ng 48 niya? 48%? Again, yung tatandaan na hindi nyo kinukumpara yung score nyo sa kung ilan yung nasagutan nyo yung tama. Kinukumpara natin dito yung score niya sa iba. So kung may 48 percentile rank ako, ibig sabihin, 48% ng mga nag-take ng exam, mas mababa yung score sa akin. Or equal yung score sa akin. Lower than or equal to. Then the other one naman, which is 52%, has a higher score, greater score, or kaya naman greater than or equal to my score. Okay? Yun po yung ibig sabihin nun. Hindi ibig sabihin nito na 48% ng test scores or test questions na sagutan mo ng tama. Kasi ano yan eh, it will greatly affect kung may sobrang taas ng score at sobrang baba ng score. Kunwari, karamihan sa inyo, ang mga score nyo ay mababa. Pero, kahit na mababa yung score ninyo, 48% ng population na nag-take ng exam, mas mataas ka sa kanila. Okay, yun yung ibig sabihin. O whether mas mataas yung, kumbaga, sobrang tataas ng mga scores ninyo. Kaya lang, 48% ng mga nag-take ng exam, mas mababa ang score sa iyo. Okay, yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Regardless of the scores na meron kayo, kung ang percentile rank mo ay ito, ibig sabihin nun, yan yung number of, or yan yung percentage na may mas mababang score kaysa sa'yo. Subtract natin siya sa 100, 52%, may mas mataas na score kaysa sa'yo. Paano mo nalaman? Meron. Baka naubos mo na kahapon. Ikaw pa naman si Load. Ano ka? Wala. The percentiles. The percentiles are the 99-point score, or score points, which divides the distribution into 100 equal parts, so that each part represents the set of theta. You already know that. And yung percentile rank, we already know this. It is useful for us to relate our individual scores to the rest of the entire group. Okay? Typically, ito yung proportion ng ating score sa distribution table. Or kaya naman dun sa entire group na meron tayo. So what is a percentile rank of Gino's score in verbal ability? Nakita natin kanina yung percentile rank na is 99. Okay? So 99 percentile rank of Gino's score in verbal ability is 99. And nakita natin na yung score niya ay 726.57. Okay? Now, if 1.3 million students took the national or the NCAG, how many students obtain verbal ability scores that are lower than Gina's score? How many daw? So kung titingnan ninyo, 99% ng 1.3 million yung merong score na mas mababa kaysa kay Gino. Kaya nga tayo nag-multiply ng 0.99 sa 1.3. I mean, sa 1.3 million. Kaya nga nakakuha tayo ng number na 1,287,000. So, ibig sabihin, out of 1.3 million, karamihan doon, which is 1,287,000, ang may mas mababang ability score, verbal ability score, kesa kay Gino. Ano pa? Sunod na question. Ay, di pala sunod na question. Thus, the 1,287,000 students has lower verbal ability scores than Gino. Nabanggit ko na pala yung kanina. How about letter C? How many students have the same or higher verbal ability score than Gino? Kung 1.3 million yon, i-subtract natin sa 1.287, we have 13,000. Okay? So 13,000 yung merong parehong score sa kanya or kaya naman higher yung score than Gino. Okay? Next. We have here the group data. Meron tayong monthly salary of the employees in a company. Then, assume that the researcher wanted to know the percentage of the employees who have monthly salaries lower than 25,000. So, kung titingnan natin, yung monthly salary that is lower than 25,000, so meron dito tayo, no? Nasaan ba si 25,000? Nandito siya sa class na to, which is 23,000 to 25,999. And isosolve natin yan, no? Pag sinolve natin yan, makikita nyo within 23,000 to 25,999 siya. Ano ang kasunod doon? Doon natin makukuha lahat ng ano daw? Anong nangyari? Anong nangyari sa kanya? Akala ko yun na yung percentile class niya. So the lower boundary is 22,995.5. Huwag niyong pansinin yung ano dyan, yung square dyan. Dapat yung square nandito. Then our N is 6. Yung P natin or yung raw score is 25,000. Yun yung kinukuha natin yung PR or yung percentile lang. Then yung cumulative frequency below natin is 51. Huwag niyong pansinin itong naka-square. Hindi po yan dapat ang naka-square. Dapat ito, nasa baba niya. Then yung I is 3,000. O diba? Nag-iba na yung naka-square sa kanya ngayon. Gumalaw siguro yun. So kapag sinolve na natin siya, as you can see, we have 100 divided by N. But naka-plus na siya dito, no? And we have, meron nga muna ako niyan. Ay. Tingnan natin yung ano, kasi baka mamaya may typo na naman sila. Check ko muna yung ano. Is it plus? Percentile rank. Percentile pinapakita nila sa akin. Wait lang, check ko yung formula. It should be plus. Hindi tayo nag-add kanina. Should be plus, ha? Wait lang. Yun yung problema, no? Iba-ibang ano, iba-ibang formula. Wait lang, hanapin ko yung sa... Wait lang, ha? Napansin niyo yung difference sa formula? Ano po yung kakaiba? Pero, napansin niyo yung kakaiba doon sa formula? Anong meron dyan sa nakikita niyo sa screen? Doon sa pinagkaiba ng kanina. Ha? Hindi ko kayo naintindihan. Ba't yun? Parang nag-ano kayo na lang. Ayan. Yung pinagkaiba kanina is nagmo-multiply tayo. No? Tapos dyan nakalagay plus. Pero dito, tingnan ko tong dito sa book makikita niyo. Ay, wala pala kayo. Sa book kasi dalawa din. Isang plus, tapos isang walang plus. Wait lang nga, i-solve ko para makasigurado. Four. Ulit lang ah. O, diba? Dito sa book, makikita nyo, may plus din siya. Pero, ang ginamit na formula is not plus, but multiply. Plus 100 divided by 120 plus 0.8. Mali siya. Kasi mamali tayo na. Oh, it should be plus. So, makikita nyo dapat plus. So, dapat ito yung formula natin for the percentile rank. Final na yan. Dapat may plus tayo. Wait lang, tingnan ko ulit sa internet. Percentile rank. Percentile rank is equal to 100 divided by n plus. Okay? Plus the quantity of t minus the lower boundary times the frequency of the percentile class divided by I plus CF below. Okay? I-send ko na lang to sa GC. Then, hindi ko i-upload tong video kasi baka malito din yung mga klase. Eh, for sure, yung iba dyan nagnonood, umpisa lang ng klase tapos sunod wala na. Okay, sorry for the inconvenience kung meron kaninang mali. No? Kahit ako nalito pagdating dito sa libro plus tapos multiply ang ginawa. Okay. Kahit yung tinignan ko nung nakaraan, siguro talagang hindi lang nailagay si plus. So, very crucial po ang formula. So, kailangan matandaan. Again, formula po nung ng percentile rank. Percentile rank ay percentile rank of the raw score is equal to 100 divided by n plus, again, plus the quantity of the raw score minus the lower boundary times the frequency divided by the class size plus the cumulative frequency below. So, kapag nag-substitute po tayo, we have 100 divided by 60 plus 25,000 minus 22,999.5 times 5 divided by 3,000 plus 51. And the answer will be 56%. Pero kanina, no, nakita nyo, may tama yung mga sagot natin. Ay, nako. What is happening? Therefore, 56% of the employees who have monthly salaries lower than 25,000, while 44% have a monthly salary higher than 25,000. Mas naniniwala ako dun sa multiply. Kaya lang nakalagay kasi siya plus. Okay. So I think ayan na yung huli. I-check ko muna yung dun sa exam ninyo. Check ko muna yon bago kayo magsagot. Okay? Para kapag ang tama pala ay